Good morning, 8:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, October 25th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So as we can see here, XRP is down 1.24%, but the interesting thing is this morning, we might not just break down just yet, only because it's possible we created this inverse head and shoulders and it came down to this inverse right arm, and that now we can possibly push back out. Came down to 51.92, so now you got like this inverse setup. If it invalidates this and breaks down past the head formation at 51.17, this is invalidated. So if it comes down below 51.17, it's invalidated. Right now it does seem to be setting up an inverse setup. If we look at Bitcoin this morning, it's hugging that 68K. If it breaks over this and doesn't get rejected, Bitcoin's got a decent target here. However, that 68,000 has been acting as a line of resistance. We do know that this is in a megaphone pattern, which is a bullish continuation pattern technically, but that doesn't mean it can't get rejected here and come all the way back down to 47. However, it does look like a bull flag setup here. And after the consolidation, even overnight went to like 67,200. After that consolidation, if this gets hot here today, we could have a pretty significant move. We could have a pretty significant move. Now, anybody who is on BLOFIN with me, I've found a lot of discrepancies through the copy trade. The fees are out of control. So I had a lot of suggestions the last couple days, and I actually appreciate it. So while we wait for BITUNIX, because that's just what I'm going to do. The exchange I like is BITUNIX. I'm not gonna do anything outside of it. So I do have a trade open just for anybody who was left in the copy trade. Not many. I think there was like 4 people that have money that is still being used. But I opened it just in case this plays out in an inverse head and shoulders. It's only like a $100 trade, so it's very small. But it's just in case this does play back up to come to that 54.3. Otherwise, in the future, if I do anything, I'll just put it in the Tom's Armies section on YouTube, and then you'll have the option if you would like to follow it or not. Until BITUNIX comes, I'm not going to keep giving my money away in fees. To put it in perspective, I did a 50x trade, and I don't know if this is only to copy trading or if this happens on the regular side, because I'm not allowed to put in a regular trade apparently because I'm a copy trader. But I did a 50x trade, and I've been doing it the last day and a half now after I realized it. And I did a 50x trade, and it took $13 and $15 on the buy and sell. So that was $28 I lost just by buying and selling, and it was a $200 trade. So that's a 14% fee, and that didn't sit right. And I did it a few different times just to verify. And yeah, so that's where I'll be standing right now. I do still think this inverse head and shoulders, so I just wanted to sneak that in here real quick this morning. But this inverse head and shoulders could play out. But like I said, if we fall below like 52 cents, this would probably invalidate this thought process. It would invalidate it if we fall below 51.17. But it does seem like we do have this inverse setup here. We do have this inverse setup. So it's pretty interesting, because that looks like an inverse head and shoulders. If it pops out of here and does something like this, we're going to say, well, how didn't we see this inversion? Well, we see it. It's just a matter of if it plays out right now. So that's a big thing. So if you're looking to get ahead here, you're looking to try to build up your position, and you're trying to find an exchange that works for you, go to the video description below and our pinned comments and look for BITUNIX, please. They have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees. It'll allow you to stay on the same page as me. It'll allow you to stay on the same assets as me. I also have HOTCOIN for VLO and for the XRP Bitcoin pairing as of right now, but there could be more in the future. But when I buy back with VLO and such, that's the exchange I have to use there. But BITUNIX is my A1. With all of the discrepancies I've seen through leverage all across different exchanges, unfortunately, BLOFIN used the same tactics as HOTCOIN, which I'm not going to support that. If I trade on my own time, we'll see. But once this trade either materializes or what, you guys know what's going on. I'm not going to give it to the exchange who keeps taking my fees. That's what Uphold did in spot. So I don't appreciate that, to be honest. And that's the exact reason I stopped on HOTCOIN with the futures trading. So I'm going down that same path. So You know, when we get to BITUNIX, I have high hopes for it, but it could take forever for them to get their copy trading. So just look in the members only section. If you're part of Tom's Army, if I ever do make a leverage trade, I will be like, hey, these are the parameters. I'll put it down and it'll be up to you guys to open it. I think that's better anyhow. Get on BITUNIX because then you can open the trades that I open because that's the platform I'll be using. But like I said, I have this copy trade open for like the 2 or 3 people that were still active just because I wanted to see if it would play up. The odds are, it's tough because it's starting off not exactly the hottest this morning. But it was a promise I made to the way back up. So let's see if this plays out or if it breaks down. But we're on the fringe line because Bitcoin right now in the stochastic, it had a resistance, but technically the last time it did this, it came up, hit that resistance on the, or hit the resistance like over here, came back, and then it came all the way back up to get the double rejection. So it's one of those mornings, guys. This is where they liquidate the leverage traders. I always talk about it. Whether you go long or short, you're kind of bent over a barrel. Because, for example, a spot position's fine. But like for XRP, look what it just did in the last day and a half. It went from 56 all the way to 51.2. So then you're like, oh, well, it's clearly a short. Then it goes up to 53.36, starts breaking down. Then you're like, well, clearly it's a short again. Now you wake up and it's back up to 52.50. And if it bounces off of here, it could be worse. Or you're going long and you're like, oh, I see the inversion. And then it just breaks down. So it's really interesting how this is playing out. The only good thing about this is the fact that Bitcoin is over 68,000. And we can very clearly see a megaphone pattern here. We can very clearly see a cup and handle where it's on the handle. We can clearly see a bull flag as well. I understand that the stochastic is speaking bearish right now, but if this breaks up, this is going to be a big move. And the technical target would be 86K roughly, 88K. But I could see it having an overzealous run up real quick, getting a rejection if the stochastic holds up. Let's just say it gets hot and goes to 74, which I don't know if it's going to happen, especially with the way the markets look right now. But before the presidential election, before we get into a holiday weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend with Halloween, could we get a little bit of fireworks? We could. But in my personal opinion, get your spot stuff ready, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of fireworks and leverage that nobody talks about. The fees that I've been associating and finding with leverage trading across multiple exchanges, now it's disheartening. It's disheartening. The fact I could open up a $200 trade and lose $31 on the trade, or $28 just from opening and closing it on a $200 trade, that means you would have to make 14% just to cover the trade on the buy and sell. Like I started looking and I had a trade yesterday when I made $62, but on my account it only showed that I made 31, and I'm like, what the hell is going on with that? And then I seen $31 in fees on the $200 buy and sell. I was appalled, to be honest. And then I started looking back and yeah, oh boy. So I see a big discrepancy. So I'm just being honest with everybody. I was not happy. So XRP here before I leave. Got a few things to do this morning and then I'll be back. XRP, we're going to see if this inverse head and shoulders plays out. That's it. If it doesn't play out and it invalidates, it could do it very quickly. But if you look at it in the 4 hourly, you know, it's showing signs that we're very indecisive. Let's just put it this way. But it's created the appropriate inverse right arm. Now, if it's going to pull up, it's going to pull up. If not, it's going to drop the hammer on us. If this doesn't hold and bring us back up near 54 and it breaks 51.17, it's going to drop the hammer on us. That's all there is to it. But I feel like it's more bullish than bearish this morning just because we had to come down. I feel like we could come up and retest the upper boundaries. But watch that invalidation zone. Please watch that invalidation zone. If you're watching this morning, please make sure to hit that like button so we become recommended on this video. My video yesterday got 1,064 views. Was not recommended by YouTube because there wasn't any in the beginning. For the first 500 views, there was only like 41 likes. So YouTube didn't recommend it. The last 500 views got about 100 and something likes, which was great. But YouTube still didn't recommend it because they came too late. So if you hit that like button, YouTube will recommend this update. And it will allow more people to see this. When I become recommended in an update or a live, it becomes It just, my content goes on the YouTube news feed, and they recommend my content. It's as if I'm paying for advertising because you guys hit the like button and you were being very, even if you comment and call me an asshole, whatever. But just a comment, but the like, it really does help more than anybody knows. Not being recommended yesterday and getting over 1,000 views, that's what usually happens. And if I get recommended, you'll see my video at 1,700 to 2,500 views. It's such a big difference. So we lost anywhere between 100 and 250% of our reach yesterday because we just couldn't hit that like button. So if you appreciate what I do, please take that extra step to hit the like button. And then there's one other thing of news of note that I'd like to read. And this is away from the charts. But what was this at? Oh, right here. Ripple files Form C in the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, challenging a recent ruling from the Securities and Exchange Commission. The company said Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Elderody, confirmed the filing in an X post on October 25th, adding that the SEC can't submit new evidence or ask Ripple to produce more. The filing follows an August decision by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, which imposed a $125 million fine on Ripple for institutional XRP sales, ruling that they constituted securities transactions. So, Stuart Elderody put today, Ripple filed a Form C listing the issue. We plan, I don't know if it'll let me see this from this page. I'm going to go back to Stuart Elderody's page, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go to my own, I'm going to go to Stuart Elderody so we can see it on X. And then we can go from there. But pay attention to the news and notes, folks. Pay attention to the news and notes, because this could be the bullish momentum we're looking for today for XRP that could get this inverse head and shoulders swinging up, to be honest with you. So the case is not about whether XRP and of itself as a security. XRP, uniquely situated as having clarity alongside Bitcoin, is not being classified as a security. The SEC is not challenging that ruling, which stands as the law of the land. The appeals court reviews this record that has already been sent, and we have a great record. The SEC can't submit new evidence or ask us to produce more, meaning there won't be all the drama we had in the litigation when we fought over documents. As we go through this process, please remember the SEC's broader strategy. Try to create distraction and confusion for Ripple and the industry, but honestly, it's just background noise now. The hard part of the fight is behind us. Ripple's business is growing and getting stronger every day, even as this appeal process plays out. So now you can see the appeal of the United States Court of Appeals, the Second Circuit Civil Appeal pre-argument statement form. And we can see all of this. The amendment that has to be attached. And now in Amendment B, Ripple proposes to present the following issues on appeal. Each is subject to a de novo standard of review. 1. Whether an investment contract under Section 5 of the Securities Act of 1933 must have the essential ingredients of a contract that imposes post-sale obligations on the seller and that gives a buyer right to demand and receive profits from the seller's activities. 2. Whether the district court erred in concluding as a matter of law that some of Ripple's transfer XRP met the requirements of SEC Howey Company for an investment contract, including an investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profit solely from Ripple's efforts. 3. Whether by proffering evidence of widespread uncertainty about the application of the federal securities laws of virtual currencies and other digital assets, and of the SEC's inconsistent and deliberately vague statements about how it would apply those laws. Ripple raised a genuine dispute of fact that was material to its defense, that it lacked fair notice that it conducted violated Section 5, while the specificity and clarity requirements of Rule 65 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure bar an injunction that, like one here, does no... What, we don't have the second one? He only said the first one? Does no more than to direct the enjoined party to obey the law. So, like we keep saying, this has nothing to do with the security status. That is the law of the land. XRP is not a security now, nor will it ever be. This is a civil appeal. That is it. That's all this is. It's Form C, but it's the civil litigation that they're appealing, the SEC. They want more money. This is where XRP or Ripple can stick it to them a little bit. So Ripple appeal disputes the district court's determination, and we already read through this. The SEC filing against Ripple. Ripple's filing follows an October 16th appeal from the SEC that questioned the district court's partial summary judgment favoring Ripple. The SEC's appeal, however, did not contest the ruling that XRP isn't a security for programmatic sales on digital asset exchanges. Instead, it sought a review of court's application of securities law on institutional sales. Judge Annalisa Torres of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York ruled partially in favor of Ripple Labs in July of 2023, deciding that XRP is not a security when sold programmatically on digital asset exchanges. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this update. Consider joining Tom's Army if you do appreciate my due diligence. If you appreciate the fact I haven't missed a day since March of 2021, or the fact that I give you this information as it comes out, I tell you the truth about the exchanges, and I also give you opportunities to trade with me. This time it'll be outside of copy trading. If you're part of Tom's Army, if I do make trades, I will post it in the Tom's Army section on YouTube, but you have to be in Tom's Army. But that also allows you to get the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens all the way to the XRP 589 or XRP Diamond Hands badge after 3 years in Tom's Army, which we've got a multitude of people in Army for 3+ years. But it'll also allow you to get my content 30 minutes early as YouTube goes through in the algorithm, and they have to see if my content meets their standard, that I can post it, I can get ad revenue, yada, yada, yada. Everybody can see it who's in Tom's Army for a half hour. So you get this information a half hour early. I hope it found you well, and have a blessed morning. Hashtag be better, do better in the comments if you made it till the end. And I'll do like JW would say, hashtag be better, do better, hashtag FUD assassins. And remember, help one person each and every day. Because if I don't do my part and you don't do your part, what's really the point in this journey to 2028 to 2032?